I would be doing now, which I'm not, is dieting to get within reach of the 82.5s again.
So I suppose it's quite a nice hiatus in that respect, not having to diet down so much.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do quite enjoy the process.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's because I don't know how you go about it, but the way I did it for Tattooed and Strong was, I think I was weighing in at about 90, about a week out, I was weighing in at 98 kilo. And so we did water loading and reduction, and also like calorie restriction coming up to that weigh-in. So so that was a new experience for me, mate. I don't know if you do it the same way.
I don't know if Neil actually told you, but he was the person I went to for advice on the water cutting protocol.
Mm-hmm.
I knew because I'd met him I think at the 2017. I think he was in the 82.5 class and I was in the 90 class
Right.
at the GPC Brits.
Yeah.
So he's a weight class lower than me, and he looked twice the size of me.
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to him afterwards and just being like, how the hell have you got down to 82 kilos?
Yeah.
And so he briefly kind of went into it a little bit then, and it just always stuck in my head. And then I did the Brits in 2018 up in Scotland in like November, I think.
Uh-huh.
I was walking around at about 90 bang on, I think. So I weighed in at about 88 after just playing it safe with food for the last couple of days.
Right. Okay.
So I sort of looked at that and was like, well, I'm pretty sure I could get down to 82. So I said, I spoke to Neil. I said, can I like pay for your services to get me down to 82? And yeah, he couldn't have been more sound and more helpful with the whole process. He just basically sent across the best, really quite detailed email, I think, but the best process that he's done throughout his years of trial and error through them.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much just had this blueprint from Neil where everything was covered. The only thing that I do additionally to that now is just actually diet, so that I drop 2, maybe 3 kilos of fat the 6 weeks leading up to it.
So is that because you prefer to do it that way for body composition? Is it like a personal thing? Like
it's initially I'd probably do it every competition now, because I guess there would be a good reason to try and be better than last time. And if I did a cut the last time, or at least dieted, then I should probably do it again the next time. I didn't actually diet at the end of last year, but that's because I'd already done 2 back to back. But it's mainly so that I can get to 82 via a cut, because the extra couple of kilos of fat, I don't think I would get down there otherwise.
Yeah.
So
it's just a process that works best for you, essentially.
Yeah, it's drop the shit weight and basically fill that frame or fill that weight class with
quality mass.
Yeah, sort of stuff that's going to be of use, basically.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that makes complete sense. But I found the process very entertaining, because I'm a big advocate of body composition as well. You know, it's something that I've focused on for many years, dieting and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I know what to do myself if I want to get into a certain shape, if I want to lose weight, if I want to gain weight.
Yeah.
I kid you not, when the evening prior to that competition, I'd been like consuming, God knows, like pretty much everything. And there's isotonic drinks. I don't know if Neil put you onto them as well.
Yeah.
Like like there was, I think I'd gone through about 4 liters of that isotonic drink and another maybe 4 liters of Coke as well. So I was
Yeah,
absolutely stuffed. But looking
yeah,
in the mirror, mate, I looked absolutely incredible, like full on eight
yeah,
pack. You know, like I was just filled out really, really well, but at the same time, really lean. I thought to
yeah,
myself, you could essentially do that before a bodybuilding competition.
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of bodybuilders would do that to an extent. Um, Probably the ones that compete within weight classes more so. So maybe like the 2-on-2 guys,
Yeah.
they probably would do something along those lines, if not more. But it wouldn't surprise me at all. But the difference that your body can, or the changes it can go through in such short amount of time is actually just phenomenal. It's the first one that I did, which was exactly as Neil sent it over. And since I've done 2 or 3 since, I've made small changes, whether it's the order of what I've used with the sauna, the baths and stuff, or the foods that I refeed on, or etc. I've now got like a near perfect way of how I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just do it the same each time now. But the first time I did it, I just couldn't believe what was actually happening in such a short space of time, and then how good I felt come comp day as well. I actually felt better than what I had done
Yeah.
in all the training sessions leading up as well. So
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a super compensation effect to it, and the amount of people that say, weight cuts will have a negative impact on performance, and I just don't think that they're doing it right. Anyone that says that.
Yeah, I agree. I felt pretty damn good on the day. Don't get me wrong. I found the work prior to it quite challenging, especially not being able to drink the night before and going down on the day. That was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Because all you can think about when you can't have something is that thing, right?
Yeah. So if you're anything like, well, like I was on the first 2, I was particularly overkill with, but it's the carb depletion process where you get, say you're weighing in on Friday, you get to the Tuesday and Wednesday 0 carbs, and you have your last day of high water intake. It's not so bad, but it's that next day when you've got nothing to eat really, and if you have, it's just, I don't know, a few eggs or a bit of protein, bugger all water, and then the first few days leading up to it, especially with the water, it kind of keeps you busy. And then on that day, I'm just like, well, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I'll go to the shops and get all my refeed stuff. Completely dehydrated, starved, walking through every aisle, picking up probably 5-6 times as much food as what I actually need. And it's just all because it's the shit I'm craving at that time.
Highly relatable. Highly relatable.
It comes to refeed day, and I eat the first bagel, and I'm like, I don't really want any more now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you get there, you think that's what you want, but then once you've got it, you're not bothered, are you?
I think the only true thing that's actually like completely satiable is that first like liter of water.
Oh, unreal. Like,
Everything else just tastes the same after that, I find.
yeah, and as for myself, I actually found the refeed and the having to consume that volume of liquid almost, in fact, I would say just as difficult as the cutting. On the evening, I was struggling just to like breathe.
Yeah.
It was a challenge, definitely.
I would say it was probably the first couple of times, probably the first time especially, the hardest bit. If you speak to Neil, I'm sure he'll tell you about it, but after my I'm sure he probably gave you a sort of a carb and salt drink to sort of make up with some other bits in.
Yep.
I basically went a bit too hot with the with the sugar and the dextrose, and everything. I think I had about 2 liters just sort of as soon as I got in. Everything just started coming straight out the other end. And I was just like,
I've heard about
shit.
this as well. Yeah, well, there was a kid that trains alongside myself and Neil, and he did a competition a week or two prior, and he had the same issue. So like I was told to have Imodium on hand just in case that scenario occurred. But I was quite lucky, really. Like I didn't have that issue. But you can see why it would happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's it all makes perfect sense, and I just kind of waited. Like, I was messaging Neil on the day, and he was just like, sort of gave me a bit of reassurance, and just
it's completely normal.
Yeah, and,
just wear 2 pair of pants.
Yeah, don't leave the house, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like once that was sorted, I still felt like I just felt awful all day. Like I felt almost hungover, but sort of like hypoglycemic at the same time, which it was obviously only the latter, but I just felt that rough from it all.
Yeah.
That
so
like,
I suppose that's a steep learning curve for you.
Yeah. So the second one I did, I changed the foods that I introduced first on that refeed day. And I spent the whole day at the venue handling my girlfriend who was competing. And I was fine. I think we went out I think we either went out or we had some friends come over to our place that we were renting for some pizzas. And I was pretty sociable. And like the first one was absolutely awful. I didn't even want to leave the hotel room. And my girlfriend came up to where we were staying about 4 o'clock after she finished work, and I was just like, just didn't want to see anyone, and just the dramatic change in sort of like how I felt through just making some small changes to suit me.
And again, I suppose that comes down to experience as well.
Yeah, I think it was just knowing sort of what things to. It's pretty straightforward, but just kind of easing things in rather than kind of throwing everything in.
Yeah.
From fasting for, I think, I'm pretty sure about 72 hours I'd fast for normally now.
Yeah. So I suppose a lot of it just comes down to experience and just seeing how your body responds. And I suppose that would come down to a lot of other things as well, you know, like obviously, like just like your diet in general, but like, you know, any supplementation that you might take as well, like how does your body respond to that? You know, what works well, what doesn't work well. But yeah, ultimately I think it just comes down to that experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think this one's pretty suitable for comp day as well, but I think the best thing, or one of the things that I did that made a big difference, was not introducing anything kind of new that I hadn't been eating during that build up to that event.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first time around I was throwing in like I think it was loads of bagels and jam, and pretty sure I was throwing in like chocolate flapjacks and stuff at the start as well, and I just wasn't eating any of those things like leading up to it.
Yeah.
And then second time I just kept the foods which I had been eating regularly and I knew I could stomach with no problem. And yeah, that made a world of difference, really.
Makes a lot of sense as well, I guess. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You know, it's I suppose it's a bit like a science experiment. You wouldn't throw in completely different compounds if you're using a certain number of compounds. You'd always try to keep the variables similar.
Yeah,
so
or at least
sort of know, like, you know, what's working and what's not.
At least keep them limited to a few so that you can keep your fingers on what has changed and what it could be causing the issue or
Exactly. Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it's the cut is probably one of the most valuable skills, I guess, I've learned, or piece of knowledge that I've acquired in the last couple of years, which has made a big difference to my own performance, but also to the what I have to offer as a coach as well. So I don't speak to Neil loads. It's just kind of as and when, really. But yeah, I definitely learnt a lot from him just in that small sort of period of time that it was leading up to this competition. And yeah, sort of owe him a lot for his help still. He's still very yeah, humble about that. I think he actually said to me, like, no, I'm happy to help you, and like it's yeah, it's all fine, just make sure that you beat my records. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do my best. And then I think I spoke to him shortly after, and he was like, yeah, it's fine then. Yeah, it's all good.